time. That I had briefed you on all that happened. And based on that letter, the President, and as I told you earlier, that meeting will still hold. The meeting was called by His Excellency the President on the 3rd of March. That was the day for yesterday. It was called the day for yesterday on the 3rd of March, and the meeting was attended by the President, the first Vice President, and Vice President Josephine, and Vice President Bolmel, first Vice President Bolmel, and the Security Advisor, plus members or representatives of the political parties signatory to the agreement. It was also attended by the civil society. You must have seen Edmond Yakani talking. In that meeting we deliberated on the security situation and on the political situation. And specifically, this time the talk was about the situation in Nasser. In Nasser and Ulang counties. You know very well Ulang and Nasser counties are in Upper Nile states. They are in the eastern part of Upper Nile state. And as a result, we had a series of discussions, and the discussions concentrated around the White Army. As you know very well, there was that wild rumor, misinformation, that the army which was moving in the boats was going to Nasser to go and disarm the White Army. In that discussion, that was refuted, and it was clarified that these forces are not going for any disarmament, but going to relieve the forces that have been in Nasser for long. And this is a normal military situation whereby a force is sent for any assignment, and after that it is relieved from that assignment and transferred to another part or area. This was the situation. In our talk, in our discussions, in our discussion, the IO denied knowledge or responsibility for the White Army. Because we were saying, IO, this White Army is your force. It is, we know it a long time ago, before the agreement. It is one of your forces. That is a militia or a support force under your command. So please take care of these forces. And instead they were denying responsibility. However, they promised that they will. They promised that they will talk to them so that they allow the forces to move to Nasser. These forces, this agreement was reached, and as you must have seen in the social media on the 3rd, when we talked, myself, Potkang and Yakani, we talked about the resolutions of that meeting. It was agreed that the forces, the White Army, should withdraw to the centers, to their home areas, and that the SSPDF forces should be allowed to go and relieve their brothers and sisters in Nasser. Now, after that meeting, the opposite happened. The opposite happened. The IO, instead of talking to the forces, to those forces which are called the White Army, the White Army decided to attack Nasser garrison. They attacked it, yesterday morning at 2. And by the morning, they had already captured it, and there was only left a commander plus some of his forces that were in the tanks. And these people have been resisting and defending themselves up to now in Nasir. But the rest of the forces had withdrawn. These forces, which the SPLM-IO denies now, have proved to us that they are not White Army only, but they are SPLM-IO. You might have come across a video here where they have, of course, shouting the slogans of the IO. When I shout and I say SPLM Oye, it means that I'm a member of the SPLM. And when I shout IO Viva, 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 it means that what? I'm a member of the IO. These are known facts. And for that matter, there is a video here which proves that the IO, the so-called IO is not actually, or the so-called White Army, is not actually a White Army, but an IO force that attacked Nasir and captured it. I don't know, some of you do not know Nuer, but those of you who know it will hear it. Shouting Viva. These are the people who captured these artilleries. They are shouting Viva, and the IO here with us tells us that these are not our people, they are separate people, we don't know them. So we have come here to tell you that it is the IO that violated the very agreement that we had here on the 3rd. They were denying responsibility, but now they have been betrayed by the very people. And they have now confirmed to us that they are members of the IO. This is, of course, a document that cannot be denied. So it is the IO that captured that place. Now, if it is the IO that captured that place, then what is the way forward? The way forward is that one thing to know is that here we are here as party signatories to the agreement. The SPLM-IO is a member of is one of the signatories to the agreement. And if it is a signatory to the agreement, I call upon the members who are signatories to the agreement, and specifically to the IO, to control their forces. Control their forces and give them the necessary directives to withdraw from that place. Withdraw from that place, withdraw from Nasir, and allow the government in which they are members to continue with the relief of those forces, as was said before. We are also, as the government in which they are members, asking the IO to abide by the provisions of the agreement. If the IO believes that they are part and parcel of the current government, then there is no reason of fighting the forces of the very government in which you are a member. What took place actually was organized and coordinated from here. Because over there, what do people know about forces that are moving to Malakal, from Malakal How do people know that these forces are moving from Malakal anywhere else? How did they know that these people, the composition of these forces comprises of Abu Shok and Agulek, what do you call it? How did they come to know all this? These are informations that go from here. And this is not for the interest of peace. It is not for the interest of the people of South Sudan. For that matter, I'm calling upon the IO to respect and abide by the provisions of the agreement. It is only when we work together that we'll be in a position to achieve this objective. This objective of moving together from here up to elections is not everybody's interest. It seems that there are parties, there are individuals or groups of people who are not interested in the implementation of the agreement in letter and spirit. Because if we implement it in letter and spirit, we will go for elections. And if we go for elections, there are certain groups there that do not want us to go for elections. And as such, they must all the time start with obstruction. They must all the time obstruct any processes so that we extend again. You know very well we have been extending. This is the third extension now. Or is it number one? This is the third, I believe. We are not ready for a fourth extension. And as such, these people who are obstructing all this are groups who do not want us to go for elections. We are determined to go for elections. So my message to the public through you is this, that the government is still in full control. The government is in full control of the situation, and we are in the process of addressing the situation in Nasser. Number two, my advice to the public is that they should not listen and be agitated by this negative propaganda which is going on in the social media. This negative propaganda where everybody sits in his own room and he sends out very wild rumors. And people come and read them and say, this is very dangerous. These are individuals who are acting in that way. Don't be agitated. Don't listen to these wild rumors which are being spread in the social media. Avoid them. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when they don't find any support or any sympathy, they will definitely stop from doing all that they are doing. My third point is to the users of the social media. I'm warning everybody, any user of the social media, to refrain from this negative use of the social media. Hate speech, you know very well, is not wanted. We don't want all these negative approaches. What we want is peace. We are supposed to use our social media for peace and harmony, for peace and peaceful coexistence, not to agitate war and encourage lawlessness and disorder. So the social media houses are advised to abide by the law and respect the use of the social media responsibly. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you will find yourself in conflict with the law. But then matter go turn it gulena walai sa janunile wadonufi makamale. Because this time we will take people to the court. There will be no mileage again, because we have been talking for long and we have been warning people against the abuse of the media, of the social media. So this time, if you happen to be in conflict with the law, be ready to face it. This is my warning to everybody who is a user of the social media. In addition to that, the Article calls upon the partner member of the that is the partner member of the Article, who is the SPLM-AIO, to control and restrain its forces and respect and abide by the resolutions of the 3rd of March 2025. Resolutions with our Lumbari, which was agreed yesterday. The day was yesterday. We talked to the media, and it was just thrown away the same day. There is need to respect it and abide by it. Not that only. But what had happened actually is that the IO, the leadership of the IO here, had contacted the commander of the SSPDF, who is still in the garrison. They contacted him to surrender to the IO forces. Contacted him, commander of the SSPDF was contacted, for your own safety and life, you surrender yourself to the SPLM-AIO. And as you have known here, the SPLM-AIO is whom? It is the White Army. The commander refused and rejected the offer. He is still resisting and is still continuing in his base. Efforts are underway to rescue him. Anyway, we are making efforts to address that situation. That is the situation in which we are. So we call upon the IO member, IO, to control its and restrain its forces so that they respect the provisions of the agreement. The Artigono head, which is headed by His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, is committed to peace and implementation of the agreement in letter and spirit. Any attempts by any party to derail the implementation of the agreement will not be tolerated. We'll make sure that the agreement is implemented in letter and spirit so that we go for elections. This is what we are saying, and the government is committed to that, and we make sure that the agreement is implemented in letter and spirit. And this despite the hurdles and the obstructions being made. And as such, we follow what the president announced to us earlier. He said, I will never take you back to war. In short, he said, no going back to war. And I'm here to announce it, to repeat it again, that we are not going back to war, but we make sure that the agreement is implemented in letter and spirit to the end. Thank you very much. Yes, I will only be taking very few questions. From here, in the middle here, and from here.